Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wiley. We got another big time boxing show for y'all today, and we talking boxing. You know we got Byron here, ready to school y'all on this thing. Big fight we talking about today, but before we go into that, make sure you go on Spectator Sporting YouTube page, subscribe, like, comment. If you're riding in your car, go ahead and subscribe to the Spotify page too. And we also appreciate all the love we are getting on TikTok. Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Tszyu for the second time. Sebastian comes in 27 years old from West Palm Beach, Florida, is the WBO World Super Welterweight Champion, comes in 22-1-1 with 14 knockouts. Last fight won by a TKO in the 4th round against Chordale Booker, and now we'll have his rematch against Tim Tszyu, who is 30 years old from Australia, comes in 25-2 with 18 knockouts. Last fight won against Joseph Spencer in the 4th round as well. And now we finally get the highly anticipated rematch. Adi, talk to me about this fight.
Yeah, well, 2024 was a nightmare that would not end for Tim Tszyu. Okay, in the first 2 rounds of that first fight between Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, Tim Tszyu landed several right hooks on Sebastian Fundora. Okay, he bloodied his nose. The man, it was lots of blood coming from Fundora's nose after that second round. But as the second round bell was sounding, Tim Tszyu ran into the elbow of Fundora, and it was a nasty cut on the top of his head. The blood was flowing. The doctors was looking at it. The ref was looking at it. The cut man couldn't do anything about it. I can't believe the fight wasn't stopped. They kept fighting. It was a bloodbath.
It's a competitive fight, though.
It was. I think they should have stopped the fight.
Yeah,
it was just too much blood coming. Tim Tszyu, it was leaking, man. It kept leaking, and so. But Tim Tszyu, he lost his WBO belt and during that fight, and the Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrigal fight last August, that was supposed to be Tim Tszyu versus Terrence Crawford.
What a fight. We got robbed.
He would have won that fight if he didn't get that little accidental freak accident, okay? It would have been, I would have, now.
You would have picked Tim Tszyu. Wait, hold on.
I said he would have won that fight if he didn't get cut.
Yeah, he definitely
he would have won.
I know what you mean. Okay.
I'm saying Tim Tszyu would have won the fight against Fundora if it wasn't for the cut. I saw him taking control of the fight.
You thought the same? I'm like, damn, for real, you got Big Crawford? Damn.
No, I would have loved to see that fight.
No, I would have loved to.
But we'll never see it. I don't think we're ever going to see that fight.
Okay. All right.
And so,
I got you.
Now, in Tim Tszyu's next fight versus Bakram Murtazaliev.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Tim Tszyu clearly was not mentally recovered from that nasty cut versus Fundora. In the first round, Tim Tszyu attacked Murtazaliev with a 3-punch combination. There was a clash of heads, and then Tim Tszyu started looking for blood. He thought he was bleeding.
Right.
He was like touching the top of his head. And he stopped fighting, looking for blood. There was no blood. Yeah. He thought there was blood, but it wasn't no blood. It was a mental thing he was going through. Then in the second round, a counter Murtazaliev left hook dropped my man Tim Tszyu. He never recovered from that. Okay, he got knocked down a couple more times in that second round, and then it was a TKO in the 3rd round. They threw in the towel. Okay, so that really sucked. Now, many boxing experts believe it was time for Tim Tszyu to give his uncle/trainer the pink slip, Igor Gulabev. Okay, a lot of people was thinking it was time to give Igor Gulabev the pink slip, get rid of him. But instead of replacing his uncle, Tim Tszyu banned his father, the Thunder from Down Under, Costa Tszyu, from attending his next fight in Australia versus Joey Spencer, okay? And he felt like he was a distraction, and he felt like he was, doing...
And I said that. Because that was like the first fight he ever watched, the Murtazaliev, and then,
Yeah, because he said that when Tim Tszyu was a teen, Costa Tszyu left and went to Russia and got a new wife and kids,
he just left, he abandoned him.
Yeah, so he doesn't, it's a personal thing going on between them two.
Yeah.
So for those fans who don't know who Costa Tszyu is, Costa Tszyu versus, what was my man?
Zab Judah.
Yeah.
Zab Judah and Costa Tszyu. If you want to know who Tim Tszyu daddy is, it is a moment that is etched in history. and I had Tszyu in that fight.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight. Costa
Tszyu was, and it's crazy. His son fights very similar, very tough, very rugged, and can upset a big name.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they apparently they don't get along and everything. Damn. So now against Joey Spencer, early on in the fight, Tim Tszyu decided to remove the reckless abandon. Okay, in the first round versus Murtazaliev, Tim Tszyu threw 39 total punches and 19 power punches. In the first round against Joey Spencer, he threw 15 total punches and only 1 power punch. Okay. And in the first 2 rounds against Joey Spencer, the man threw 45 total punches. 39 out of the 45 punches was a jab. Okay. And then in the 3rd round, Tim Tszyu turned up the heat, and in the 4th round, he finished him off with a TKO. So you can see the little change he had. He's more, like you say, tentative or cautious. Yeah. Good performance.
Yeah.
Definitely. Tim Tszyu coming in, trying to get his revenge against this guy. What's your expectation on this fight, Byron?
Tim Tszyu was my favorite 154-pound fighter before Terrence Crawford moved into this division. So, as far as the people on this panel, I was hurt. I was hurt when Tim Tszyu lost to Fundora. And Murtazaliev, you know, and I know we're talking about Tim Tszyu right now, but Murtazaliev is being punished for decimating Tim Tszyu. And, you know, even though the crazy thing is I'm a Tim Tszyu fan, and I didn't even know that he banned his dad from ringside. I didn't know that. Yeah. But, you know, I can't talk about Tim Tszyu unless I talk about Murtazaliev, who right now is the man at 154. And, you know, even though we're talking about Tszyu, Fundora, I want to get that out here. Who got enough nuts to fight Murtazaliev?
Does Virgil Ortiz have the...
I don't know.
But De La Hoya let him fight him?
No, because now Virgil Ortiz is in the Golden Boy Witness Protection Program, and it is a very, very good program for fighters who don't want to push themselves. So I don't know. Stay tuned. But Tim Tszyu is a dog. And you will not see a fighter who is more willing to engage. Not just his outside the ring willingness to make fights, but in the ring. If you want smoke, he's gonna bring it. But there is, you know, at 30 years old, you have to put some type of, I guess you gotta look at your career. You gotta look at how you're gonna end your career and look at going into these fights and just getting into firefights. You got to look at the skill of it, and his father was a very skillful fighter. So I think Tim Tszyu can still be one of the best 154-pounders in the world. But it's all about Tim Tszyu and where his head is from, like Adi alluded to, one of the worst 2024s that I think anybody could have in professional boxing. I mean, he lost a fight, a bloody fight, that I believe he would have won if it wasn't for the bad cut.
Yeah.
And then you just run into a monster.
And then before he ran into the monster, he lost an opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford.
He lost that. Yeah, basically the Fundora fight lost him the opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford. And I'm telling you, that would have been a different fight than a Madrimov fight. Because that would have been, I truly feel like it would have tested Crawford's mettle. Because Tim Tszyu wouldn't have danced, but he would have had to finish it.
Because Madrimov was dancing.
He would have. If Crawford hurt Tim Tszyu, he was going to go through Tim Tszyu to beat him, and it was going to be a hard fight for me to judge because it was going to be whose will is stronger.
It's one of the fights we're never going to ever see.
And nobody would have called it a boring fight. No, it would have been an exciting fight until it ended. But it would have ended. I don't see a decision on that fight. No. They would have tried to kill each other. But Tim Tszyu at 25-2 with 18 KOs is one of the best 154-pound fighters in the world. But he does have a mental block when it comes to how bad that cut was and how he's going to progress, you know, in his career. I I believe that this fight at this time is great for Tim Tszyu. And I'm saying that because I think Tim Tszyu, after the TKO last fight, I think he does have a little bit of confidence back. I still would like him to adjust his corners. I don't understand these fighters that want to go with the same trainer for 100 years. Like, you have to, it's okay. It's like changing coaches in football.
Yeah. That's his uncle.
I mean,
he probably been known since he was a little baby.
And he probably got paid very handsomely. Yeah, like, it's time to go. He needs someone that's going to go in there and kind of take his skills and kind of refine them and turn them, because the thing about this fight, you know, before it was who's going to fight Terrence Crawford. And that's what it was. It was the Terrence Crawford sweepstakes. Now it's who is going to challenge Murtazaliev. And so you can't win this fight thinking you're going to sit on this title, because you got Charlo coming. You got Murtazaliev there. And I don't believe with Turkey, because I think Turkey lies. I don't think Crawford is going to retire after this Canelo fight. Crawford has stated he's coming back to 154. So I think Tim Tszyu needs to get himself in position with this fight to get the confidence to go back up to get Murtazaliev. And I know we're talking about Tszyu Fundora right now, but I'm just saying, I think Tim Tszyu is his skills. I think skill-wise, boxing IQ-wise, he's better than Fundora. And I think he already proved it. Yeah. But is he mentally capable of surviving this 12-round fight, winning it in a very convincing fashion, and then I'm more convinced. I'm more looking at who are you going after next. Is this the revenge tour, or is it just you getting this belt and then you're going to try to play the lesser competition? And I hope Tim Tszyu is not going that route, but when I say I'm excited for this fight, that's an understatement. I think this is going to be a hell of a fight.
Definitely. So maybe if Tim Tszyu, that Joseph Spencer fight helped him out, and if he can win this fight against Fundora, all that mental block will be gone, because when the injury happened, if he's able to go over there,
we hope. Yeah, Fundora didn't beat his ass. Like, the Fundora loss was a bad loss, but Murtazaliev beat your ass. Yeah, he beat your ass. That's the guy that you need to want smoke with. And if I know, even though I don't personally know Tim Tszyu, it's straight from a fan's point of view. But the dog that I know Tim Tszyu is, I know he's trying to get Murtazaliev in the ring. And I'm praying if he wins this fight, that's the name that he calls out.
Well, Sebastian Fundora, Byron, you know, he is the WBO World Super Lightweight Champion. He's, regardless of what happened, he won the fight. So what is his approach coming into this fight?
Fundora is a different kind of duck. But he's a duck. Fundora's championship reign is one of trashiness and duck. He hasn't faced any type of competition. Trashiness. Because even though Fundora is solid for giving Tszyu this rematch, because he didn't have to give Tszyu this rematch, but Fundora took that title and he ducked Terrence Crawford. You know, you won the Terrence Crawford sweepstakes, and then you was like, I don't want no smoke with Terrence Crawford. And then you had Murtazaliev there, and it's like, man, go get him. I don't want no smoke with Murtazaliev either. So it's like, what can I say about Fundora? You're very tall, you're very big, you have a long jab, and you are in exciting fights, meaning that Fundora is going to push a fight. You're not going to, you know, get him to get on his back pedal. He's going to stand in the middle of the ring. He's going to fight you. He's going to engage. But Fundora don't want to fight nobody. You know, you want Fundora to lose this fight so Tim Tszyu can get this belt, and then we can see this belt do what it do. We either give it to Murtazaliev or Tim Tszyu takes it back. But we want this belt out of Fundora's hand, because Fundora don't want no smoke with nobody. Now, I do give Fundora this credit. It is very stand-up after the battle that you had with Tim Tszyu for you to give Tim Tszyu another opportunity at this fight. Because you know that the cut was very, very substantial when it comes to the decision of that fight. Had that cut not happened, you might have got your ass knocked out. because that's where it was going. Tszyu was landing big punches on you. Tszyu was getting on the inside pretty much when he wanted to. That cut reigned supreme as far as that fight goes. So for me, this is Fundora manning up and saying, hey, you know what? I took this belt from you, but I took this belt from you due to special circumstances. So let's run this shit back. Let's see what we got going, and let's see who the better man is. Shout out to Fundora for that. But you done duck about as much smoke as you can on some Canelo shit at 154. And let's just keep it real, Sebastian. You know, let's just keep it real. You have ducked so much smoke at 154 that I don't think anybody at 154 that's a fan of this division want to see you hold the WBC belt anymore. I don't. Yeah. And so I like this kid, but I don't like him with the belt. So, you know, Fundora is fundamentally sound. He's very tough, but there are so many gaps and holes in his game. I think a fighter like Tim Tszyu, he's not the best, you know, fundamentally sound fighter, but I think his boxing IQ is very, very good. It's very light years ahead of a lot of people. And a lot of people don't give Tim Tszyu the credit he deserves. They kind of put him in the realm of a brawler, but he really isn't. He's very calculated with his aggression, but I think this title is just better with Tim Tszyu because Tim Tszyu is going to make the fights. Tim Tszyu, you know, is not going to fight 3 bullshit fights just to fight 1 good fight. You know, I think if Tim Tszyu gets this belt, I think he's going after Murtazaliev. And this is just the absolute fact of the matter. I want to see Murtazaliev get the fight that he deserves after beating the shit out of Tim Tszyu. And so if it is the best fight he can get after, how long has he been off? Is this a year now?
Well, he beat Tim Tszyu, what was that, October?
Yeah. So it's like
October.
A little less than
So I mean, he ain't got nothing on schedule. So it would probably
no, they say he's supposed to fight a guy. I might.
In September.
Kelly. Yeah, he's supposed to fight a guy named Kelly. In 154, he's ranked. He's like a top 5 fighter in one of the sanctioning bodies. Yeah. And so he's like.
But I just think after that performance, I want to see this guy get in there with the, you know, top 5. Like, he should be fighting champion. Yeah. You know, after that, after you beating a convincing champion at 154, you should start with the unifying process.
He became a boogeyman at 154 after that.
Yeah. So I want to see Tszyu against the boogeyman. If Fundora wins this fight, I still don't think he fights Murtazaliev. I don't. And so, you know, I think Fundora fundamentally sound. I don't want his fans to come jumping on me. I don't think he's trash, but he ducked a lot of smoke, and I think you can't deny the fact that Fundora ducks smoke because he does.
Definitely. So Fundora come in 22-1-1. Adi, how does he, you know, beat Tim Tszyu for the second time?
Well, yeah, I tell you, but the winner of the first matchup between Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, like Byron said, was supposed to fight Terrence Crawford, okay? Yeah. And all of a sudden, Errol Spence Jr. came out of nowhere. Yeah. Errol Spence Jr. is in the ring with Fundora after he beats Tim Tszyu.
Coming off an ass whooping.
Yeah, and they kept scheduling fights and canceling, and scheduling. And canceling and scheduling. That cycle kept continuing. Like
but once it kept, after a while, this is never gonna happen.
And Spence ain't fought since. Yeah, I mean,
since July 2023, 2 years ago, and he was wasting time with Errol Spence Jr. That was his little way of making it seem like he was trying to make a fight, but it was just a bunch of bullshit. And Fundora went on a year-long fight drought, and he ended up getting stripped of the WBO belt. And Terrence Crawford said, you should have taken our fight when you had a chance. Now it's over with. That's what Terrence Crawford said to Fundora. He said that on social media somewhere. So this is why I'm hoping that the Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh plan, they're supposed to be making this TKO thing or whatever. Hopefully that plan comes to fruition. Those guys can get together and make something happen to do something about these guys who get these belts and start ducking the top guys in their weight class. Something needs to be done about that. You know, Teofimo, Tank Davis, all these people, Boots, Canelo, Mario.
Way too much ducking going on right now. Way too much ducking.
But in Teofimo's defense, you know, his femininity, you know, and come on, man. Let's let Tia be Tia. I mean, you gotta let him embrace his femininity and naturally run. You know, maybe he wants to fight Clarissa Shields, because I would pay
We gotta do something to say somebody. Hopefully Dana White, Turki Al-Sheikh can make something happen. Yeah. But anyway, the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora, he's 6'5". He's a 6'5" southpaw, 80-inch reach. The WBC champion, and he's Ring Magazine's #5 contender, coming off a 4th round TKO. He overwhelmed the dude, Chordale Booker.
Yeah.
He just overwhelmed him with 4th round.
Chordale Booker.
Yeah, Chordale Booker, the gift Booker. All right. Now, Fundora was very fortunate that Keith Thurman pulled out the fight against Tim Tszyu. Okay, that's the only reason why he got that fight against Tim Tszyu last March, because last minute Keith Thurman pulled out, he got hurt or whatever, and Fundora stepped in. Then the boxing gods helped out Fundora even more with the cut with his elbow running into Tim Tszyu's head and causing Tim Tszyu, he couldn't see and he lost the fight. Okay, so this man had, Tim Tszyu had the most unluckiest 2024 and Fundora had the luckiest 2024, okay? Now, but his luck may be running out, okay? He must figure out how to stop those Tim Tszyu right hooks. He took too many power right hands from Tim Tszyu in those first 2 rounds. I mean, if that cut didn't happen on top of his head, I don't know how long he would have lasted. With all that blood flowing through his nose like that, I don't know. So he needs to...
Tszyu was totally compromised after that cut.
I see Fundora, he likes to do that southpaw jab a lot, but it's for some reason it makes him susceptible to that right hand. So he needs to fix that. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. So now that we went through everything, listen, this looks like it's going to be, this turns out, this could be a great fight. And, Tim Tszyu and Fundora both, trying to get back, get their name back out there. So, Byron, what is going to happen in this fight? Who wins?
Man, I think it's only one way for this fight to end. And that's just my opinion, but it's only one way. This fight gonna win by stoppage. And, Tim Tszyu lost a lot in 2024, and this is the get back tour. I think this is the get back tour. I think he's gonna get Fundora with a 10th round knockout.
I love it.
And the reason why I'm gonna say 10th round is because, as Adi alluded to, Tim Tszyu is going to fight more tentative in the first rounds. He's not gonna put himself in that phone booth right away, but when you're fighting a guy with an 80-inch reach, you ain't got a lot of options. So at some point in this fight, it's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get on the inside, and I'll take Tim Tszyu on the inside against Fundora any day of the week, even after the loss, even after Murtazaliev, beat the Aussie out of him. Like, I'm still taking Tim Tszyu on the inside against Fundora. I think Tim Tszyu has the most power, and I think Tim Tszyu is motivated to get this belt. Like, Tim Tszyu wants his belt back, and I think he's gonna knock this man out. I think his whole frame of thinking is not just a decision, but to get this guy and not to let him off the hook, not to play with him, but be tentative, be box enough so that you don't create these avenues where you're gonna get hurt. But when it's time to turn up, I don't think his corner's gonna be able to get off of him. I think when Tszyu gets him and smells blood in that water, he's gonna finish him. I do. I think he's gonna finish him. 10th round knockout.
I love it. Tim Tszyu for the knockout according to Byron. Adi, what you think? What's gonna happen in this fight?
Well, the winner of this WBC title fight will have plenty of options. The interim WBC champ Virgil Ortiz Jr. Also, a unification fight with Murtazaliev is an option. Keith Thurman is coming off a knockout victory over Brock Jarvis. Booth Ennis just moved up to the 154-pound division. So it's a deep division. Booth made.
Sorry, guys.
Booth says he wants to make the great fights. That's what he says. We'll see what he do. Him and Eddie Hearn. So now, Sebastian Fundora has been knocked down by the Hammer, Erickson, Lubin, and he's been knocked out by Brian Labala Mendoza. So I see him fight a more cautious fight in avoiding those phone booth exchanges. Now, Tim Tszyu has also been knocked down by Terrell Gausha, and he's been knocked out by Murtazaliev. So I see him fighting a more tentative fight, being more cautious. So I don't think it's going to be a knockout. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision for Tim Tszyu.
Okay. And let me just say this. Boots Ennis. A lot of you fans, a lot of you Boots fans, jump down my throat just for saying that how can a fighter that you put on the same level as Bud Crawford, that you put on the same level as Earl Spence. Watch those two fighters migrate to 154 and then make the decision to stay at 147 because he's going to unify the title, right? And we came on this show and I told you stands and the morons that I don't think it's a good idea. I think Boots Ennis is good enough to beat Earl Spence. I think Terrence Crawford beats the holy living hell out of him. But I think he's good enough to have a competitive fight with Earl Spence. I said this last year. And you jump down my throat. You can't tell a man what to do with his career. You can't tell him, who are you, fat guy? You know, and I identify as husky, guys. So, you know, stop disrespecting me.
Not
man.
fat, just
it's
husky.
a life choice, man. It's a life choice. Husky, not fat.
I love it.
But the thing is, now, after beating Stanionis, the guy that nobody knows, you know, the most defining win of his career, now he decides to go to 154. After ducking Madrimov, after ducking Virgil Ortiz, and now he sets himself at 154, and what is Boots Ennis gonna do? You know, I have been very nice to Boots Ennis, but I promise you guys, when they announce that next opponent, and it's a cupcake, I'm gonna give you a reason to hate me. Cause I'm gonna go in on Boots Ennis like you ain't never seen. Because Boots, you lied to us. You told us that unifying 147 is, you know, a life goal. You know, you have to be a unified champion at 147. And now, the guy that Adi loves to hate, Devin Haney, is going to unify 147, unlike you, and you're going to go to 154, and you're not going to fight Murtaz Aliyev. You're not going to fight Virgil Ortiz.
Hey, who you going to fight?
And I think you're going to... I think he fights a cupcake. Then, maybe a Keith Thurman. Okay. I think he'll fight Keith Thurman, okay. Even though he said he wouldn't. But I think he'll fight a Keith Thurman.
Okay.
And then he's going to get ran over in the absolutely competitiveness that is the 154-pound division. And that is my opinion. And yes, it is some shade on that because y'all talked a lot of shit about me. And I was a Boots fan. But Boots duck smoke too. And we're gonna talk about it whenever he gets an opponent. I just want to add that little quick thing because y'all really went in on me just for saying I don't think he should stay at 147. He should move to 154.
They gave you smoke, and maybe he fights the winner of Tim Tszyu Fundora.
Shit.
It's possible. It's possible. Listen, man, I agree with both of y'all. I got Tim Tszyu, but I got him in a 9th round knockout. I feel like he comes back this fight. He gets his revenge.
Tim Tszyu don't fight for decisions.
Yeah, I think he finishes off, and hopefully we can get that big time fight afterwards.
No, I think if Tszyu wins this fight, he calls out Murtaz Aliyev. I think he does.
That'd be cold. I ain't gonna front. If he knock out Fundora
I'm a Tim Tszyu fan. I'll vouch for this man. He's a very tough fighter. If you can go back on the shows when we talked about the 154-pound division, I said Tim Tszyu. If you can look at a good division and you can tell that it's going in a good direction by the person who heads that division.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
135, as talented as a division as it is, was quicksand because Little Tank Davis, Mr. I want to fight Jake Paul, Mr. Don't call me a pussy, but I'm gonna act like one. He destroyed the division. 140, another talented division, is in quicksand. Why? Because Tia Female is trying to turn it into Hello Kitty. 147 was one of the most competitive divisions in boxing. You had Spence, you had Crawford, and when they migrated up, it turned to shit. Why? Because you had Boots Ennis, who didn't want to go after the big smoke in the division. He wanted a name so he could have a bargaining chip to move up to 154 and do what? Unify the division, go after champions? But how you gonna go after a champion when you already ducked 2 when you were invited up last year? So we'll see.
I want to see what Iron Man Charlo does at 154.
I do too.
Because his brother just came back and won.
I do too.
All right, y'all. This is Spectator Sporting. Hey, I'm Zach Russell, my partner, Mr. Ali Wally. Shout out to Byron. Make sure y'all go on Spectator Sporting. Subscribe to that page.